Hmm, 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 hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, couple of really interesting, importante topics to go through. You're gonna really enjoy this. Some big time discussions about to happen in regards to, all of this transfer business. Who's in control of all of that? Ben Chilwell conversation. There's a lot that I need to say about this particular thing. And Carney Chukweumeka is back as well. So plenty. Make sure you stay tuned. Let's go.
All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get cracking into the news. Pochettino, I'm working to identify what we need in the January window. I'm involved in transfers. Now, this is circulating all over Chelsea community at the moment. Some of you guys would have seen the press conference. I caught bits and pieces of it. We'll talk more about that closer to the game when we do the preview. Interesting how Mauricio Pochettino has come out here, and I know this is just a small snippet where PYS is just extracted out of the press conference, but I think the greater context of it is it kind of gives you an indication that perhaps Mauricio Pochettino hasn't been involved in transfer window so far, and it kind of makes sense. He's been indicating all this time that he wants experience, and then we keep influxing the team with giving him, all of these young players. So I'm not really certain some of the players that have come through are completely his, his signings or things that he's approved on. Look, definitely to a certain degree, he would have signed it off and he would have approved it, but I don't completely think his heart was in some of these transfers that we've made. So look, that aside, we've got the players in, whatever the case is, he's now got to do the best out of them. But this particular comment lets me know that moving forward in January, I think Mauricio Pochettino will be heavily involved in transfer business, and he will definitely have a big say as to who comes in and whatnot. And I think he needs to be given that power to a certain degree. He needs to be given that power. I'm not saying now bend over backwards for the board and just accept anything and everything that Pochettino demands, but you need to start compromising. You need to listen to what Pochettino wants. Like, for instance, Pochettino, I'm pretty certain, was looking at someone like Dybala, was looking at someone like Lautaro Martinez. Now, us as a fan base, maybe we might not like it or some may like it, but at the end of the day, these are some of the things that the board needs to sit down and talk to Pochettino and really get rid of this whole under 25 business. We don't want to buy any players above the age of 25. We will only look at players under the 25. They need to deviate away from this. If you want to have some form of success right now, you need players that have done it in the big stage for a long period of time, at least at a medium level of time. Do you know what I mean? So this is very important. This is very important for the success of Chelsea Football Club and the sustainability of Chelsea Football Club long term. You keep bringing in all of these youth players, young players who are highly talented, but they may not be able to deliver the success that you're looking for right now. And if we don't get the success right now, we will not have the future down the track. So this is interesting. We shall see exactly how Mauricio Pochettino lines up the January transfer window. Apparently, already we're looking at Victor Osimhen and also Ivan Toney, which I'll do a live stream sometime tomorrow early. So do look out for that. But yeah, we may start deviating away from this less than 25 business. There's a lot of players out there who are really good above the age of 25. Have got a lot of experience in the high level of European football, and it's something we need to look into. So I'm glad to a certain degree Pochettino is getting this power. If we want him to succeed, he needs this power. And by God, look, I know in recent times we've been highly critical about Pochettino, and rightly so, but I can assure you, no one wants this brother just gone right away. We know how detrimental that's going to be to the football club. So give him whatever it requires for him to find success at Chelsea Football Club. Next up, and this goes with the news that I've been talking about in regards to Pochettino getting a little bit more power in the transfer market and responsibility as well. Look at this. Jeremy Lyde, I hope I pronounced that right, Lyde, has joined Chelsea as position-specific scouting manager. He was previously in Brighton with Paul Winstanley. All of these Brighton, honestly, at this stage, Brighton, you're our B word. You know what I mean? You're our, make it out exactly what I'm trying to say. We beat you on field. We take all your people. We're probably continuously going to take all your people in the future as well. Look, I wish we didn't do that. It seems like we are stripping Brighton off to the bare bones. Honestly, we're taking everyone. But look, this particular position, specific scouting manager, I think it goes hand in hand with what Pochettino now is being given that responsibility. So this scout will be probably looking at what Poch wants. Poch might be wanting, look, I want a specific player who can do this specific role. Go and scout for me. So maybe something like that might happen down the track. The only issue with this is, ladies and gentlemen, specific players for a particular manager, you better hope the manager sticks around for a long time. Much like Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp. And the only way you're going to stick around at Chelsea Football Club for a long time is you're going to have to bring success. So if we keep chopping and changing managers, this particular position of specific scouting manager becomes redundant, really, because every time you're going to scout someone for a particular manager or a particular role, someone else new comes in and it might just not work out. So hopefully there is some stability moving forward. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we need to talk about this. Breaking: Ben Chilwell expected to be out for 1 month, ladies and gentlemen, 1 month. Now, that might not seem that long. He'll just be back, right? There's some international break coming up as well, just around the corner. So there'll be a week and a bit out on that. And then obviously we got a couple more weeks left before the international break. So Ben Chilwell potentially could feature after the international break anyway. Excuse me. So look, all I have to say about this, let's be absolutely honest about it. And I want to hear and see what you guys have to say in the comment section. Ben Chilwell, for me, ladies and gentlemen, in the next exodus of players that we're going to have potentially in January or maybe next summer, he will probably have to be considered. As much as, honestly, I've got no animosity towards Ben Chilwell. I've got no hatred, no nothing. I never have any hatred in regards to any player, honestly speaking. I look at things logically. Ben Chilwell, I saw as a particular player before the start of this season as a leader. And he's the vice captain. But the way he's been deployed this season so far, and I get it, it's early days, things could change. It's started to make me think, well, what does he really bring to the team anymore? He's not being considered at left back. Let's be honest. At the moment, it's Levi Colwill who's been considered ahead of him so far. I know Reece, in the last game, Ben Chilwell was the left back, but that's because we had to shuffle things around, right? With Malo Gusto gone, we had to shuffle things around with Thiago Silva rested as well, and so on and so forth. That's what we had to do. Ben Chilwell is not getting selected as first choice left back. Ben Chilwell is being deployed as a left wing in recent times. Even that's been stripped away from him. So what is Ben Chilwell really bringing to the squad now? And now that he's injured, you best believe it's either going to be Levi Colwill at left back or someone like Cucurella or Martin might get an opportunity to really make that position their own. So for me, ladies and gentlemen, Ben Chilwell, number one, form hasn't been that good. Number two, technically, he looks a bit inept at the moment. Number three, he's not even, seems like to be the first choice left back. And when he is playing left wing, it's not looking good, bruv. It is absolutely not looking good. So overall, and lastly, compound all of this, the most important part, the fourth point, he's injury prone. That hamstring of his is continuously getting battered and ripped up. We saw the hamstring issues last season. We are now seeing it this season. Both our brothers, both our fullbacks, Reece James and Ben Chilwell, captain and vice captain, as massive question marks. I've already told you guys about Reece James. If Reece James continues to keep missing games for us, we will have to think about getting rid of him as well, because what are you bringing then to the table? And it's not like Reece James is only injured now. He's been injured ever since he joined Chelsea Football Club. There has to be a point where we go, do you know what? We've got Malo Gusto. Maybe we look at someone else. And if there is a good offer coming for Reece James, we let go. Similarly now for Ben Chilwell. There are far better left wingers than him. He's definitely not a left winger. And I think there are better left backs than him as well. Martin should be given an opportunity. And hell, maybe even Cucurella now. But we shall see what Poch does with Levi Colwill. So for me, this is now a serious thing to look into down the track. We shall obviously see exactly how the season pans out. But all of these things that I've mentioned about Ben Chilwell, lack of form, lack of technical ability, not being available continuously, being injured consistently, and the fact that you're not first choice in any of these positions, whether it's left wing or left back, it poses a massive, massive concern in his future. Let me know, ladies and gentlemen. I would honestly, if it continues in this pattern for the rest of the season, I would consider getting rid of him by the end of the season, in the next summer window. Probably not in January, but in the next summer window. Let me know what your thoughts are. A lot of people will say, oh, but he just signed a new contract. That means nothing. Honestly, that means nothing. We saw Lewis Hall apparently signed a new contract and he got sold. We saw Chalobah signing a new contract and he's on the verge of getting sold. So for me, that means nothing. Let me know in the comment section how you feel about Ben Chilwell, because I feel like his future is a little bit cloudy at Chelsea Football Club. Next up, Carney Chukweumeka has returned to full team training, ladies and gentlemen. He is back, and some of the players are very, very excited about this on Instagram when Carney Chukweumeka posted that he's back training. A lot of players had very nice comments to say, some positive comments to say. So they're very excited to see Carney Chukweumeka. Look, I'm very happy to have him back. We need some bodies back. We need some central attacking midfielders. We need players that are going to play a crucial role just behind Jackson and help Jackson as well. I think that's how we should look at life now at Chelsea Football Club. We need to help Nicholas Jackson bang in more goals, and we need players behind him in the likes of Carney Chukweumeka, Cole Palmer, hopefully down the track when Christopher Nkunku comes back, and also Ian Martin. Like, these players need to consistently feed Nicholas Jackson. So I'm glad to see Carney Chukweumeka back in training. Apparently, he might be in contention to play against Fulham, possibly from the bench. So we shall see. This has been a fantastic recovery. I'm very, very surprised how quickly this has turned out for us. I just hope that he's not rushed back and gets into trouble. So look, good to see him just before he got injured, got that really good goal against West Ham, I believe. Things went south after that particular goal for us. We should have scored that penalty, but nonetheless, look, it was looking good for him. I was getting I rate this guy a lot. I know me personally, I was a little bit critical about him in the preseason, but I always rated this player. This guy showed me immense quality last season in a season which was abysmal. So glad to see Carney Chukweumeka back, and I can't wait to see him start featuring for us. It'll be interesting how we're going to deploy all of these players. Chukweumeka, Cole Palmer. What's going to happen? Who's going to play central attacking midfield? Maybe Chukweumeka potentially could feature as a central attacking midfielder, and Cole Palmer perhaps goes and becomes a winger. We'll see what exactly happens in this particular squad, but it's good. It's good headache, absolutely good headache, good selection problem for Pochettino. Mauricio Pochettino and Carney Chukweumeka, maybe Carney back for Monday, and Noni as well after his injury for the national team. Hopefully these two players will be available. See how the reason why I brought this up is he talks about Noni Madueke and his injury. So all of these things about, I don't know exactly what's going on. Him commenting post the Brighton win that Madueke was not selected because it was his choice. I tend to think he's probably still not fit. I'm not really certain whether Mauricio Pochettino meant what he said about Noni Madueke. I'm not really certain if he understood the question fully. You have to understand, for Pochettino, English isn't his first language. So I know it seemed quite straightforward, his reply, oh, it's my choice. But I think Noni Madueke, I don't really think there is any animosity between Noni Madueke and Pochettino. So, and Noni Madueke has been talking very positively about the squad, about the manager. I know he's not going to come out and talk negatively, of course not. But I don't think there is anything going on between Noni Madueke and Mauricio Pochettino. So I truly do believe he's still suffering from the injury. So let's see what happens if Madueke comes back in the bench against Fulham. It'll be another, player that we can rely on off the bench, which is great to see. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is the latest in all the Chelsea news that's floating around. We're going to a live stream. We'll see early-ish around maybe 10 a.m. UK time tomorrow. Do look out for that. We'll talk about Ivan Toney. We'll talk about Victor Osimhen, what's going on, and then Mauricio Pochettino having more responsibility in the transfer market, and potentially we might be looking at more experienced players. So we'll talk about all of that. We'll do some watch-alongs as well. I haven't been feeling too well over the past couple of days, so we couldn't do more live streams and watch-alongs. Just a bit of throat issues. Must have picked up some sort of a virus. So, but I will try and do a few more watch-alongs over the weekend, especially Aston Villa Brighton. I'm definitely going to try and catch that because that's early in here Sydney time. So do look out for that. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, take care.